Order is now 2 o'clock and we've got a busy schedule and we don't have much time. Got a long way to go and not much time to get there. Kind of sounds like Smoking the Bandit, don't it? Senator Goodman, would you do us a prayer, sir? Sure. What number are you? 9. Thanks, sir.
Right, y'all pray with me, please. Our Heavenly Father, we just thank you for today, Lord. We thank you for loving us. We thank you for the gift of salvation. We thank you that we're able to be gathered here today, Lord, and do the people's business. As we go about these proceedings, Lord, we just ask that you grant us wisdom and discernment. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, sir. The sign-up sheets are here on this front table if you want to speak on any of the bills. But Chairman Albers, if you'll come right on up, we're going to hear your bill first, which is Senate Bill 328. And I'll turn your microphones on.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate you and your august committee hearing our bill today. If it's okay with you, I'll have up with me someone who needs no introduction, Mr. Homer Bryson.
I've never seen him before.
He actually has done every single job in state government.
Except 2.
Except chairman of retirement and public safety.
No, governor and lieutenant governor.
Oh,
He's
okay.
been everything else.
Well, thank you, and thank you for letting us go quickly, and I know my colleagues want us to move along so we can hear their bills. This was dropped last year as per your rules and requirements, and this is proposed changes for Senate Bill 328, which is LC 432834ER, and it's changes to the POAB, Police Officers Annuity and Benefit Fund. And this code falls into 3 different broad categories because although the bill would seem pretty thick, the changes are actually not that numerous. And the purpose of this is to improve the benefit for the members and have a membership dues increase, which is encouraged by the members themselves. Administrative changes include providing a more concise definition for peace officer that's more in line with the definition from POST, the Police Officers Standards and Training Group that you're familiar with. It should be noted this does not change any eligibility of anybody who is a member of the fund. Another change is providing a definition of full-time employment. Again, this tracks with the POST definition to make sure we have consistency and clarity throughout the law. Other changes include updating job titles and duties, board powers, their duties, as well as the application process. The bill proposes several enhancements for the benefit of the members. The 5-year wait period and matching years of service for the buyback provision is removed, and the amount of time that can be bought back is increased from 5 years up to 7 years. You'll be able to buy it back the day you join the fund. Additionally, purchase time will be counted toward vesting where it currently is not. Cost of buyback time will be calculated at the full actuary cost, so it's in line to make sure everything is done proper within the fund, which is so superbly maintained by Mr. Bryson and their team. To help with the shortage of officers, or law enforcement officers, we're all well aware of, the proposed bill allows members who have vested of 30 years of the fund, regardless of their age, to remain employed as a public safety professional and receive their POAB pension. As you've seen, we've done this in the past for teachers and other critical workers. Now more than ever, we must continue to keep skilled and experienced law enforcement men and women in our community. Death benefits would be increased from the current $3,500 with restrictions to $5,000 without restrictions. And line of duty death benefits would increase from $5,500 to $10,000 without restrictions. Another change is to refund 100% of all the dues paid to any person who decides to opt out of this membership and the fund. And lastly, we believe this proposed bill would receive a favorable analysis last year, and it certainly did when it went through the actual study this year. Again, kudos to Mr. Bryson, to the entire POAB team. Again, we're supporting our heroes and our local community. They are called the finest for a reason because they are just that. They are the men and women who are answering the call. This is primarily funded by themselves. It is their own plan, and in a way we're trying to attract and retain people in a time that's been more difficult than ever to serve in the front lines. I believe this would be a great bill, and I'd ask for your favorable consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Do we have any questions from the committee? No one has signed up to speak on it. Number 9. Press it again.
Okay, I don't need it, Mr. Chairman. I just want to say that I'm inclined to vote for the bill because both of you are wearing cowboy boots and
Press your button again.
Is that a motion?
Any other questions from any of the committee members? Yes, sir, Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman, you said this and I just missed it as you were talking about it. What is the benefit from POAB?
You're talking about the benefit for somebody who is
Monthly
fully
benefit.
vested?
Yes,
So
sir.
I'm going to let Mr. Bryson answer that because it depends on how many years they have, and it eventually caps out. So go ahead.
Our current, you're talking about the current benefit payment? It's based on $30. So if you've got 30 years in the fund, then the max that you can receive under this retirement plan is $900 a month.
Okay, you said based on $30. I apologize. I'm just not following that. Help me out. $30
Per year of
per
service
year
in
of
the fund.
service.
Now, regarding the cover the cost associated with this bill, it proposes to increase the membership dues from $25 a month to $35 a month.
Right. I was meaning the top benefit you could be paid. So it's $30
Times
per-
years of service.
$30 for every year of service
Correct.
per month.
All right, up to a 30-year mark to get to $900. We will be coming
would
back
it
to you
be-
soon, though.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just going to say we'll be coming back to you at a future time to look at ways for us to increase that.
What would the cost be to take that to 50?
Well, we are working on several additional initiatives right now. Chairman Tillery, thank you for that. My goal for both the POAB and the Firefighter Pension Fund is to get both those benefits up to a $2,000 a month benefit. In order to keep people in a business that typically a life expectancy is cut short of anywhere from 2 to 16 years, the impact on family stress, heart disease, and cancer, and we're struggling to keep our first responders in the positions they are today. We're looking at several different opportunities in order to look for ways to fund that, to take it up. So to answer your question, Mr. Bryson and I have been running a lot of different numbers and a lot of different scenarios to do that, and we do intend to come back to this committee before the end of this session in order to have another bill to do an actuary study over this off-season before 2025.
I have several scenarios from our actuary, and I've verified that they're still current, and I'll get those to you.
Number 13. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for the bill. Good to see y'all. It's when people were pitching me on the retirement committee, they said, a lot more happens there than you would expect, right? And it's, when we talk about respect for our officers, we talk about respect for officers not just in the line of duty in the local level, but state, and also officers like correctional officers. We bring up, their salaries from time to time, and the issue of respect, dignity, professionalism comes up. And if you ask most people how to respect them better, one of the first things they'll tell you is, pay me, right? So I want to thank you for the bill, and I'm just curious if you have heard any feedback from the people this would benefit about the way that it changes their impression of the profession or their feelings of respect that the people are showing the respect that they deserve for the harms that they take on.
Boy, Senator, thank you. That's a very thoughtful question. It has been my pleasure, especially serving as the Senate Chair of Public Safety, to work with our law enforcement across the state. And I've literally crisscrossed the state from the furthest corners. And in meeting with each one of those officers, they used to have a lot of pension systems set up in the local cities and counties, and certainly we used to have a defined benefit here in the state. As those have slipped away, it has caused a great deal of concern for them, as I mentioned earlier, because of the factors that a first responder has to deal with on a daily basis, and what it means literally to their physical and mental well-being. And it means everything to the world to them. And folks who right now who are considering, well, maybe I should just leave 20 years and have a different career. this may be the difference maker. And you think about, they're our most experienced folks. They have seen the most, they have trained the most, and those are the folks we want on the streets more than anyone. And they become the great mentors for our younger folks, the men and women that want to join the ranks. And I believe this will be a great tool to help them in their daily lives, as well as just help the profession in general. Thank you so much.
Thank
for
you,
the question.
Chairman, and that's all I had.
Thank you. Say, Senator Harvin.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Alberts. Appreciate you bringing this forth, both of you. And you're right, these are the folks that keep us safe, and we need to take care of them as well. Tell me this, just curious, once this benefit starts, does it continue with the death of an officer from that standpoint, or is that terminated? I know we've just had a death in our one of our counties down in Spalding County, and I was curious about how that would carry on for a family from that standpoint.
When an officer retires, they have 3 retirement options that they can choose. They can choose a single 100% just for themselves, or they have an option where that covers their spouse at 100% of what they were going to draw in retirement. And then we've got a reduced option also. So there is a survivor benefit associated with this.
Okay, I just see this as that our families that are left behind, we need to be responsible
And we're
to them.
paying approximately 800 survivors currently.
800 survivors, wow,
Yes. Yeah,
okay.
we're paying about 8,000 officers retirement and about 800 survivors.
Okay, very good. Thank you, thanks for bringing this.
That's the end of the questions. What is the will of the committee? Have a motion do pass by Senator Goodman.
I'll second it.
Second by Senator Walker. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carry. Got your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee
Thank you.
members. Sincerely appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wanna go- do yours? Next, we'll have Senator Harbin, Senate Bill 308.
Thank you, sir. Have to get on my Ben Franklin glasses so I can see what's going on. I would call this the Ellis Black Bill. Ellis had asked me to carry this, and this is LC 432708. And what this is, it deals with the Georgia's legislative retirement. From that standpoint, currently, you've got a $50 per year of service that is there as you serve. What this bill does is it increases it to 50 plus 200. If you look at it under the analysis, these are people, you have to be over the age of 65 and completed 8 years of service, or you have to be over 62 and have that same amount. There's an actuarial letter from DOAA that the fund is funded adequately, and that really it can be done without affecting current contributions to the plan. As I said from the letter, it's 134% funded in that respect, and that there would be no initial funds needed. There are 217 active participants in the retirement plan currently. And I think what we see is the older someone is retiring, of course, the shorter they live as far as that, and that's one of the reasons that our bill or that our amount of money has increased, plus along with market returns that have been there. And what this is really trying to increase retirement for legislators, and that's the simple of it.
Okay. Thank you. Do we have any questions? Will of the committee?
Pass, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, let's see. Yes, sir. Senator
I think
Dillard? Oh,
No,
okay. Do you have a question?
no,
Oh, okay.
I was second motion.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
That's
We
okay.
have a motion here and a second over here. Any discussion? There was no one signed up to speak on that either. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Have one opposed. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Chairman Tillery. Senator Rhett, if you'll come up, present your Senate Bill 85, please, sir.
Good afternoon, y'all. I actually have another bill that's a carryover from former Senator Ellis Black. And today I'm here to, just a second, let me get a little organized here. I've been all over the place. Aha, there it is. And this is my friend Jim Potvin. He's the executive director of the Employers Retirement System Association. Last session, we presented this bill to the committee, which basically is legislation that would allow members with at least 2 years of service to receive up to 60 months credible service retirement benefits for active duty service on or after January 1st, 1990. The member must have received an honorable discharge to qualify to receive such credit. The person must show proof of honorable discharge and pay the actuarial costs for such service that they're trying to claim. So we sent out for an actuarial report, and then it came back where it costs nothing to the state at all, zero, because the members themselves pay into the retirement system for how many years they're claiming. And we came together with this bill because we want to try and recruit more veterans to work in the for the state.
That's
And
Senate
one
Bill
thing good about
105.
veterans are that they actually show up on time and they actually show up to work. And they say, yes, ma'am, or yes, sir. And as you can see, the actuarial cost is zero. Tillery, Senator Tillery. Do you have anything you want to say? And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. So that's what we were waiting on for the actuarial report, and shows that it's no cost to the state.
Okay. Any member have any questions? Let's see. Chairman Tillery.
Thank you, Senator Rhett. Mr. Potvin, can you explain how that would be so? Because you're adding 60 months creditable service for service that may have not, during time that may have not been paid in the state. I'm just asking how it ends up being revenue neutral. Walk me to that.
The member is being asked to pay the full cost.
So they have to make
So we
a
do a
lump
calculation
payment.
up front,
Gotcha.
and they can do a lump sum payment or a monthly payment over a period of time.
Gotcha. So they, in effect, buy their 60 months credible service.
That's correct.
Gotcha.
Number 11.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Potvin, good to see you. On the Department of Audits and Accounts actuarial study, on page 2, number 5, 6, 7, and 8, it's employer contribution rates. And then there's a GS EPS members and non-GS EPS members. And there's a recommended rate of 29.2 for the non-GS EPS members, which is higher than the GS EPS members rate. I just really want to understand what that means. What is a non-GS EPS member? The people buying in, is that what that is, or?
It is not. So the ERS system has 3 tiers, what we refer to as the old tier, for the old plan for people hired before 1982. The new plan hired between 82 and 2008, and then GSEPs is how we refer to that. They've been hired since 2009. So it just refers to the 3 tiers. Each of those tiers has different benefit levels. And so the new plan, or the second tier, has a higher defined benefit level than the GSEPs tier, and therefore their, what we call normal cost is higher than it is for GSEPs, and that's what you see reflected in the difference in those two contribution rates. So people hired after 2009, the state contribution is 25.5% because their normal cost is about 3.5% lower than it is for the other tier.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else have any questions? In the will of the committee?
I'll move do pass, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
I'll second.
Have a motion by Senator Walker and Senator Goodman. Any discussion? No one had signed up to speak on that either. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? So carry. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
committee.
Senator Strickland, you want to
Yes, sir.
come up and present yours, please, sir?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I bring to you Senate Bill 143. I wanted to go in front of Senator Albers because there's no way I can make mine sound as exciting as his. All my bill does is it makes all of our judges in our state have the same age in which they can retire. Currently, our appellate judges, which is your Georgia Court of Appeals, Georgia Supreme Court justices, their retirement age is at 65. This bill lowers that to 60. And that'll put them in line with all we call trial court judges, the judges at your courthouses in your counties, the superior court, state court judges that are all at the retirement age of 60. The reason that matters is you see a lot of our appellate judges coming from those trial court levels. A lot of people would argue that it's good to have trial court experience when you become an appellate judge. And right now, it's difficult to recruit people from the trial court bench to want those jobs in many cases because of the fact that the retirement age is different. And this is one small thing that we could do to help make all these courts equal in our state and help us continue to recruit our brightest to our higher courts in our state. So unless anybody has any questions, that's all the bill does, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any questions from the committee? And that's 143. No one signed up to speak on your bill either. Let's see, number 11.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So is there an actuarial study in here for that one? I guess there probably is.
Yes, sir.
There is. And,
That's What's the increased cost to the system on that? I can't. I'm
the
not-
total cost is $756,000, and of course that is covered by employer contributions based on the study that we have. And I know it's difficult to know, honestly, when someone's going to retire. That's making assumptions of who may retire, I guess, at a certain point in the system. But this is something that is requested by those that we're paying for it as well.
Can I follow up with a
Sure.
further question? Senator, is there a reduced benefit if you retire at 60 versus 65, or is it full retirement at 60?
It is the full retirement at 60.
Which is what the Superior Court judges have now? Is that what you're
That's correct.
telling me?
Yes, sir.
Do you mind, Mr. Chairman, if I
Go right ahead.
continue to interrogate my counselor?
Tread lightly.
Tread lightly. Tread lightly.
I have to count on him for legal advice a lot of the time. So it does look like there is a state cost to this. Not very much. I mean, $285,000 a year, maybe, is what it looks like.
That is how the 756 is calculated. And someone correct me if I'm wrong, but if you read the study, the first year cost includes $285,000 for the next 20 years to amortize the unfunded actuarial accrued liability, and $471,000 each year to fund the normal costs. And so that's where you get the $756,000 total from. But as it goes on to say, the costs associated with legislation will be covered solely by additional employer contributions from the agency. with the caveat that if things change, then there could be state costs down the road.
So are the current Superior Court judges, we're gonna have to pay more?
I guess the way that is put in, what I don't know is if the study was only looking at the appellate judges. I'm looking at Mr. Secretary, do you know? I don't know the answer. Anybody know the answer in the room? I call a lifeline? I thought it was just a simple little bill, but apparently not.
sorry.
It's okay, it's okay. Counselor.
So this bill only pertains to appellate and Supreme Court, so the Superior Court would not have any impact. This would just be, so the costs are referring to the costs that the state would pay in their employer contribution rates, in addition as a result of the passage of this bill. And that's the, I guess, $756,000, which is reflected percentage-wise on the second page of the auditor summary. You can see those numbers. The contribution rate would move from 55.85% to 72.66% of pay.
Well, if somebody that is 58 years old, almost 59, 60 seems young to me to retire, but anyway, that's all the questions I have. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, with your permission, I'd like to ask a series of short questions of the author, to which the answer to every question is yes. Is that all right?
Thank you.
Okay. Just briefly, Chairman Strickland, you would agree with me that you would agree with me that in all our discussions about state salaries keeping up with the private sector, that this is one of those cases where the disparity can be the most extreme.
Absolutely.
And you'd agree that I think it's as of late last year, the first year associate starting salary at the top firms nationwide, which represents the level of quality that we have and expect in our appellate courts, I think it's over $220,000 now for a law school graduate, correct?
Correct.
And federal judges, state judges, even at the appellate court level, don't make that kind of money, or if they do, they just barely do nationwide, right?
Right.
And I think we just got reporting too, the Court of Appeals and Supreme Court are requesting salary increases, but those salary increases would not even take them to the level of a first-year associate at some of these law firms. And so
That's correct.
if that's the case, and we're already struggling to retain some of our very most talented justices and judges, given the salary structure that we have, I mean, I guess this is designed to be a yes questions leading. Doesn't it make sense that we use every tool at our disposal to try to attract and retain that talent?
Yes, Your Honor, it does.
Thank you very much for your time.
Chairman Tillery?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I have a question for you.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Do you know if I thought it said it was a $750,000 increase for the next year, right?
It is, that's correct.
It's one time,
No, that's an annual cost.
over 20 years?
Yes.
I feel funny asking you this question, but do you know if that appears in the FY25 budget?
I'd have to ask the Chairman of Appropriations if that's in the budget.
Gotcha.
Can I ask you a question?
Senator, the questions flow one way. I don't either. I do not know that answer right now.
Well, luckily, we haven't got the budget to us yet, but I'm sure that if the committee thinks this legislation is important, maybe we can figure out a way to make sure everything is funded.
Gotcha.
Thank you. Any other member of the committee have anything? Did anyone sign up for this one? No. 143. The will of the committee?
Motion to pass, Mr. Chairman.
All right. I wanted to make sure your microphone was on for that one. Okay. We have a motion.
I'll second it.
All right, thank you. Senator Goodman was the second. Any discussion?
Question, Mr. Chairman. May I ask the witness
Sure.
question for the discussion? Does the bill contemplate implementation in FY '25?
If the Appropriations Committee can appropriate the funds.
That is correct, effective July 1st, 2024.
Would that mean, and I'm trying to get my answer right now, I apologize. The second question will be to you, Mr. Chairman. Do bills coming out of your committee, are they engrossed?
That's a question for Legislative Council.
Gotcha. Well, it's rule versus Senate rules.
That's not the private side of
Okay.
things. I don't think that's been the private.
What I'm trying to figure out is if I have a second move to amend to FY '26, if it's not in the FY '25 budget. That's what I'm trying to figure through right now.
Well, the bill also has to go to the House, and the author could request amendments over there
Okay.
if needed as well, of course.
Gotcha. Alrighty.
Number 11,
Further to Chairman Tillery's line of questioning, Mr. Potman, if these bills are amended on the floor or in the House, does it reset the clock on having to get another actuarial study? Does it kill the bill?
You would have to get another actuarial study, and it would have to be accomplished within this session, or it will kill the bill for this biennium.
yes, sir.
Am I correct though, Mr. Pont, that it's only if that increases the liability to the fund?
Well, we can't say for sure until we get the actuarial study. I mean, I can look at them and probably tell you, but my word isn't official on that.
Would it not be fair to almost 100% presume that a delayed date would not increase the cost to the fund?
My unofficial position is, yes, you are correct, but that is not enough in order to meet the procedural requirements that you need to do. I mean, look, we know, we've seen it in year twos before. They can turn around actuarial studies pretty quick when they are asked to do so with a deadline. And something like this, I would not imagine is difficult for them.
And the reason being is because the reason that this is sort of an issue is when I saw in your actual report, I think over 55% of payroll benefits have to be then set aside for, or payroll has to be set aside for benefits. I mean, it's a substantial dollars. That's the only reason. I'm not trying to pick on anybody. So.
Senator Goodman.
Senator Strickland, just curiosity, I see that it's got a nearly 17% increase in employer contribution. And my friend, the senator, what district are you from? 14th. I was talking earlier about the disparity in wages between industry and folks that are serving these judgeships. I mean, I'm sure you've talked with people that are serving on the appellate court right now, and they're asking for this.
They are.
And so, just out of curiosity, on a 17% increase, what would that be, a yearly cost increase for a judge?
You can maybe do math.
Just out of curiosity, I mean, just throw a dart at the wall.
I don't know exactly what the salary is right now for all of them, to be honest with you, unless Senator from the 14th knows offhand. You haven't researched your future salary yet, have you, Senator? It's on the sheet. Yeah. The current payroll is 4.5 million, so we could do some math. You got the numbers?
Yes, sir.
This is AJC reporting that the proposal that the Ad hoc Judicial Council Committee approved for the request was to raise Supreme Court justices from, I think they're at current 186,112, and then Court of Appeals judges are currently at 184,990, is what I'm reading.
Yes, sir.
I think the senator from 14, I think you're dealing with another bill. So that, right. I
What
thought
the
you were
current
asking
pay is.
about the 16%, what that would do to raise retirement.
I'm
Sorry.
Yeah, I was just referring to how much more it's gonna cost that judge every year. I mean, that seems like a pretty but if that's what they are wanting, and, I mean, that's fine, but 17% increase is a pretty good little increase, from one's contribution, you know?
So, Mr. Chairman, I think that's the increase for us, not the increase for the employee. We're the
I
employer.
read that, you're right, I read that wrong. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I think we have a motion and a second. And we've had discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? So carry.
Thank you.
Senator Walker, would you like to, you want to present from there? You want to go to the table, or what would you like to do, sir?
Whichever you prefer, Mr. Chairman.
I'm fine. Which number are you?
11.
All right.
Thank you. So I'm here to talk to you all about Senate Bill 105, LC 432600. And this is to give just a real modest amount of help to our folks that keep our school systems running and keep our children safe. It's for the Public School Employees Retirement System, which is your school bus drivers, cafeteria workers, custodians, maintenance personnel, et cetera. They are currently have a retirement benefit, which is using a $16.50 multiplier. So for every year of service, their retirement is multiplied by $16.50. And it's actually currently capped at that at $16.50. We have some that have retired years ago that are actually getting $14.75 per month of service, per year of service. This would increase the multiplier to $17, and it also removes the cap so that the Board of Trustees of the system could increase it if the fund was funded to that level to support that. There is a fiscal note attached, and the lump sum cost to do it, if I'm understanding this properly, and I hope Mr. Potvin will correct me if I'm wrong, but lump sum would be $5,236,000, but the amortized amount is so it'd have a fiscal impact of $389,000 per month. And the employer contribution would grow from $983.94 per active member to $1,160.67 per active member. I think this is, I think we may have some people signed up to testify, but these are actually to me, we talked about, especially during COVID, we talked about essential workers. These are the essential workers that make our schools operate. And of course, we've all heard about the difficulty in hiring school bus drivers, and you think about putting your child on a school bus in the morning and entrusting them to that driver, and you want quality people, and you want to encourage them to enable them to hire quality people to do that job. And then also just a matter of simple kind of humanity and fairness. The retirement is kind of a pittance, really, and we're not talking about a significant increase. So I hope y'all will vote favorably for this.
Okay. Thank you. Any member of the committee have a question for the presenter?
Yeah, I was gonna move too fast, but
Sir?
I was gonna move too fast, but this presenter.
Well, I know we had some people that signed up, but they're all in favor, so if you want to go ahead and make that, it'll save them some time, and we'll just move right on, Chairman Tillery. Thank you. And we have a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
So carried.
I just want to say something, Mr. Chairman, if I may. Those workers work so hard, and I think they deserve it, and we're just comfortable with that. One of the persons in my district down in Clayton County, Miss Ruby Scandra White, has been on the job as a bus driver for 50 years. I think she had got a commendation last year, and the children just love her, and they worked through COVID. They did all of that, and we just appreciate them so much, those cafeteria workers too. Just all love them.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I remember my days on school bus and remember my very first bus driver's name.
Oh, wow.
I sure do. Thank you. And that was 100 years ago. I hope you people that signed up to speak on that didn't mind me saving your breath and just move right along. I think we have a representative in the House, Mr. Representative Franklin. Would you like to come up, present your bill, sir?
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. It's great timing because I think I need to run down to the floor, but I'm happy to be here. Thank you for the opportunity to present to you. So this is House Bill 285, LC 432562. This bill has already passed through your committee, and it passed through the Rules Committee, and it's my understanding that we just ran out of time at the end of the session. So I'm hoping to see it go back to the floor at some point. But this basically gives the employee retirement systems the ability to raise their alternative investments from 5% to 10%. It's currently capped at 5%, and this request it's their request to be able to allow them to do that, to be able to take advantage of the investment opportunities and growth in their fund.
Anybody have any questions of the presenter? Do you have more to? Yes, sir.
Just going to ask a quick question. Do you mind reminding us, in terms of alternative investments, what those may be? I know we talked about that when you had it in committee, but.
Sure. It's commodities such as gold, corn, livestock, those kind of things. Real estate is a group in here, but we do not invest in real estate with this fund. Private equity, from what I'm understanding, is the main. It's going to be the main vessel in this, and hedge funds is also grouped in there. But private equity is going to be the main vessel.
I've had. Is there any investments in cryptocurrency involved in this?
I can't speak for certain, but I highly doubt it. This fund is managed by a board, and there has to be a, Exactly. I need that lifeline.
We just, that has been come up, the cryptocurrency and Bitcoin investments and this kind of stuff, and
This time, we do not have any such investments, nor do we have any plans to make any such investments.
Okay, good. Glad to hear that. Okay. Any other questions of the presenter? Will of the committee?
I'll make a motion to pass.
Thank you. Have a second? Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? So carry. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Mr. Potvin, are you getting compensated for all these great witness jobs you're doing? Thank you, sir. We appreciate your service. Thank you. No other business before this committee. We'll stand adjourned. Thank you all very much.